Hey guys, I'm here with my favorite makeup artist Mario, who gave me the look for the Vegas cover magazine shoot. That was probably my favorite magazine shoot that I've ever done, and I want to show you guys a little bit more of a wearable look, kind of like the Vegas look. We're going to start obviously with foundation. You put on a little moisturizer.
Yeah, I like to use a very emollient moisturizer like the Kiehl's Ultra Facial Moisturizer because the foundation really sticks on it. I like to use on Kim the Giorgio Armani foundation. This is called a Beauty Blender, and you can get it at places like Ricky's or Alcone in New York. And you basically wet it. Yeah, you wet it and you squeeze it, and it becomes fluffy, and it just really presses in the makeup and blends it beautifully. I put it on my hand because there's a sort of heat on my hand, and so when I'm pressing it into my hand, I'm kind of warming it up and breaking it up a little bit before it goes directly onto the skin. After I've applied the foundation, I set it with a powder and a puff. You can get a puff anywhere. You put loose powder on it, and
So
you just
translucent powder.
Yeah, translucent powder, not completely translucent. It has to have a little bit of a color in it for all over the face. And the same thing with the powder. I first dab it onto my hand first, so you don't get a blob of powder on the face, and just kind of press. So when I do Kim's eyebrows, I like to usually focus more on the outer corner, filling that in and extending it out a bit, and that generally works with most women because it kind of lifts the eye a little bit. So I like to take a color that's a little bit lighter than her actual brow color.
You just use like a regular eyeshadow.
Yeah, sometimes I use a MAC pencil, the ones that roll up, they're amazing. Or I'll just use an eyeshadow. This is called Cork from MAC.
I have cork.
Yeah, so I'll just use that on the outer corner.
I'm going to watch this vlog back so many times so I can figure out how to do my perfect eyebrow.
Yeah, you want to be kind of light-handed with it. Just fill in like little sparse areas. Then you could kind of take the leftover from that's on the brush and just fill in this area where the brow begins here in the inner corners. This area you definitely don't want to be too dark or heavy. You just want to kind of fill it in very softly.
Now you're into brow gel.
Yeah, sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not. I use it, basically a clear brow gel, just to really hold the product in place and hold the hairs in place. The one I like to use is it's by Max Factor, No Color, Natural.
I love Max Factor.
Max Factor is good.
Yeah, we're going to do eyeshadow right now, do the eyes, and we're going to kind of do like a smoky gray tone look, kind of like the Vegas magazine.
Yeah, it's going to be similar to Vegas. It's going to be more silvery on the lids and blended into a more bronzy. I don't like to use grays in the crease.
Because I usually do.
I think it's a little too ashy looking for me. I like to use warmer colors in the crease. If you want to go with the gray, you could really bring that out by doing it with the liner and smoking the liner out into warmer colors.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So right under the eyebrow, under the brow bone, just using a little bit of a kind of vanilla-ish color. It has a little bit of a shimmer. I'm using a powder. You could use either a cream or a powder. Right now I'm using a powder, and it's a really pretty silvery color. It's called Vapor. It's by Urban Decay. And I also like to get it right there in the tear duct.
That always makes it like give it a pop.
Yeah, it opens and separates the eyes. This is the Stila brush number 15. It comes with two sides. So this silvery color, I'm not going to take it all the way to the corner of the eye. I'm just going to kind of stop 3/4 in, because then I'm going to blend the darker color on the outer corner. I'm applying the darker, warmer tone now to the outer corner of the eye and blending it into that silver color that I put on first. This is just kind of, it's just like it's very bronzy, and it has a bit of shimmer in it. You could use any color. I'm using Chopper right now by Urban Decay as well. So I'm going to do her crease now, the crease of her eye, and I'm going to use, I like to use 2 or 3 different colors. I'm going to start out with the lighter one, Cork again, the one that I use on her brow. And I like to use a flatter edged brush so that it doesn't, the application isn't too thick. I can get more precise with a flatter edge brush. You can go lighter or darker with this on the crease depending if it's daytime or nighttime. Right now we're doing Kim for an evening event, so we're going to pump it up a little bit. I'm going to go over now with a darker brown, but with a much finer brush.
This is like the other end of the Stila brush.
The Stila brush. And I'm just going in more in the center. It's a redder brown, it's very warm. And you see what that does now is that thinner line I just put into the crease is now blended into the thicker one that I first put on. So that creates a smoky effect when you're going from darker to lighter. Blending is really, really important when you're doing eye makeup especially. Otherwise you just won't get that kind of perfect, flawless look on the eyes unless you blend.
So Mario is going to show you how to put on eyeliner in the right way. I know it's so hard for me to put on eyeliner, so show us how you do it.
Alright, well first I warm it up a little bit on my hand, like this, so it's not so hard. And make
what
sure.
is that, a MAC pencil?
Yeah, this is my favorite all time. It's Smolder by MAC, and it has a lot of pigment. And basically, how I do it is I lift the eye, and I get the pencil really close to the lash line. With the eyeliner, I always go thinner in the inner corner. I go thicker on the outer corner because that, creates more of an almond shape, and it like lifts the eye a little bit. This is the Smashbox number 20 brush that I use a lot to blend eyeliner. On the outer corner, I like to smudge it going more up and out. It creates more of a smoky, a little bit of a cattier eye. And then also that's where you're getting the grayish tone by blending this dark color into the warm color on her eyelid. I always like to curl eyelashes before I put on mascara. It just makes a big difference when you curl lashes. It really lifts up the eyes. And Kim has lots of eyelashes, so she doesn't need that much work on them. A little trick I use when I'm curling sometimes is I count like 1, 2, 3, and then I stop. And then do the same thing on the other side. That way one is not curled more than the other. Normally, I would curl again, like more in the center, but you don't need to do that with Kim's eyelashes. This eyelash curler is Billy B. It's by Billy B Beauty. It's a really good new one out there. I also use the Shuyamura one, which is a classic.
Okay, mascara. What's your favorite mascara? Because this is like...
We differ on this. My favorite always is the L'Oreal Voluminous in the Carbon Black. It's a new color. It's not black, it's carbon black. And it's just...
Okay, I'll try it.
It's amazing.
Probably a lot cheaper than the one I've been using.
Yeah, you like L'Oreal, Lancome, right?
Lancome and MAC.
MAC,
Zoom.
yeah. I love the MAC Zoom too. I love the Lancome. I like all of them. I just feel comfortable with this one and I always use it. It gives tons of volume. When you're doing the mascara, again, I like to lift up the eyelid to really get into the root there.
Now after Mario applies all the eyeshadow and finishes the eyes, he does the under eyes, all the concealer. So first you take a little makeup remover wipe and you wipe off everything underneath my eyes in case any of the eyeshadow has fallen down.
Which it has.
First you use a concealer and you use a concealer brush. I mean, I've always said that I like the Clé de Peau. You have this professional pack that isn't really available for anybody. So I would stick to just whatever concealer you like. Just make sure that it's a little bit lighter than your foundation.
Right. So
that it covers up any dark circles.
On Kim, right now I'm using one. It's called Beauty Tech, and it's not so much of an oily concealer, and I use that first, and then you'll see I'll go over it with the Makeup Forever concealer, the lifting concealer. You can also use Shuyamura concealer. They make a really good one as well for under the eyes. And when you're doing concealer, it's really important to blend